Hello, my name is Yike. I'm 22 years old. I'm from Sweden, and I'm G2's new jungler. I remember starting in Season 2, I think around when Xayah was released, I just started playing the game, and it was like so fun to play. The pro career kind of started like 3 or 4 years ago. Played in LFL, LDLC. It was really fun. My team was like really good and everyone was really friendly. I would say I'm more of a carry, aggressive jungler. I like to just play champs that can carry games. Viego is for sure my favorite champion right now. Yeah, I think it's so fun to play him, and I also really like Bel'Veth. She just released, and I have some spicy picks as well. Kiana, Kha'Zix. So hopefully I can maybe pull them out someday. 2 junglers that I'm excited to play versus. The first one is obviously Drakos, because I'm the replacement. And the other one would be Bo, because he's the new rookie jungler, as like everyone has hyped him up, and it's gonna be fun to see how I match that. Fnatic and Koi probably, because the Fnatic G2 thing is like really fun rivalry, I think. And Koi as well, because they won last split, so I wanna beat them.
Always nice to hear from Yike, and you can see that's a newcomer interview, so filmed near the start of the year, and he was, you know, his body language, he's a little shy, but he's showing that confidence on stage, and that's what I love to see, because picking the Lilia, really being the big carry force for his team in the previous game was a pleasure to watch, and it's something the BDS are going to have to figure out how to deal with very quickly. Their back's now against the wall, got the luxury of being on blue side, and see how they adjust their strategy coming into game 2.
Yeah, just to list the champions that Yike's been playing, just to allude to it: Bel'Veth, Viego, Udyr, Elise, Kindred, Graves. We've just seen Lilia as well, so yeah, he will love to get any kind of carry jungler. Haven't seen his Sejuani yet. He hasn't been put on Sejuani duty, but I don't think he's going to be any stranger to it. We've seen his Maokai, but yeah, bot lane bans coming in. BDS think Jace was a little bit of a problem in that last game, and they don't want to give it to G2. I think that signals to me that 1, they're scared of the flex, and 2, they maybe don't play themselves, and they don't want to have to deal with that. So G2 last ban coming in. See what they target. I think Jax is something that BDS might look for. We saw with G2 first pick that last time, but they're going to take away Crownie's Caitlyn. A lot of bot lane bans now, Zeri, Lucian. But it looks like Elise for Sheo is the direction that they want to go in. Will Yike match that with a carry of his own? Sejuani here, again on red side, 1-2, just makes a lot of sense. Can look for a full top side. Maybe G2 want to look for Lucian Nami. Maybe they want to look for a Zeri of their own. There's a plethora of options, and I think this is the reason red side is just stronger in the meta, because there are just so many overpowered champs that you can secure 2 and then look to counter on 3.
Yeah, completely agree. Jack's now going to be locked in here, so running it back. He talked about it in the newcomer interview. Yike going to bring out the Bel'Veth, and I think this is an interesting champion because there's now such a contrast in terms of what both these junglers are going to try to be doing. It's Sheo playing breakneck pace, trying to get these early ganks down. Yike can go for early plays, but can also just try to power farm up. G2, once again, enabling him to be a big carry force in draft.
All we need now is Syndra on 3, and we can get the purple draft going for G2. But there's Zeri, Lulu. How do they want to match this bot lane? We saw them drop earlier on in the last game, and then they had to go for something like Kai'Sa Nautilus. And I think G2 bot lanes showed Talia as well. They can play basically whatever the hell they want. So picking mid here wouldn't be a surprise if they want to take Ryze, for example, to play for this Jax on side lane, get some setup for the Bel'Veth, ban away 2 of the champions that maybe Nuke would want to play into it. Something like Azir.
I don't know what's real anymore when it comes to hovers. Okay, that one was fake. You just have to accept after years of casting G2 that you never know.
Could be Nautilus speed.
Makes sense.
Don't be throwback.
No,
Caps is still scarred from many years ago.
I was actually getting
storyline
hyped for the purple draft.
Yeah. No, they've ruined it already. I'm disappointed. Maybe they can keep it going if they go for Kai'Sa on 4. But yeah, BDS, what are you going to ban away? Do you ban away things like the Kai'Sa? Deny that, because it looks like G2 are probably going to counterpick mid on 5 unless they're cooking up some kind of Ryze. Could take away some blinds here from BDS. Renekton's going to be the first one. Stop those top dives. They could invest in another ban if they think that the Garen was an issue for BrokenBlade. He got solo killed, right? So if they want to take that away, they have the option too, but there's the Ryze denial, which I think would suit G2's comp perfectly.
Yeah, and I think in general, Caps, they experienced it the first time they played in the regular season. It was Caps' Ryze that ultimately brought the win home for G2 on the back of one single shutdown. Taking away the Renekton, taking away the Darius, obviously not too concerned about the Garen at this point, and just maybe I think trying to limit the immediate dive threat. Garen lacks kind of that piece of hard CC.
Maybe a TF game could be good here for G2. We'll see what they do. I'm expecting AD here. Varus is up, Kai'Sa's up. Don't think they'll go for something like Lucian Nautilus. Kalista also taken away. But TF could work on 5 here if G2 have these explosive side lanes. Ryze is gone, of course. Needs some roaming potential. Talia is another one that is an option.
Yeah, maybe a bit of uncertainty in the face of Han Sama. Not quite as easy to just slam Kai'Sa here as it was in the previous game into the double-ranged matchup.
Presented. Samira, maybe? Sivir Nautilus.
Xayah?
Xayah Nautilus.
Okay, a lot of safety again.
Yeah. And we saw it, the damage his side did. I think it was against BDS, wasn't it?
Yep.
Where he bit that feather pullback. They lost 2v2 quite hard. I think the outplay from BDS with Crownie and Labrov and Lucian Nami was incredible. But yeah, a lot of power in team fights can self-peel, and you're playing with 3 melee champs already. So needs to make sure he is safe. There's the Azir, no real surprise from Nuke. Now Adam is, yeah, Olaf. Olaf. So that takes away any idea of Twisted Fate for Caps.
There you go. But they can dive. At least Olaf can certainly dive, people.
Can also go for Akali here if you're Caps. It's very common to pick Akali into Azir and struggle early, but they have Lulu, which is a little bit annoying for the Akali in terms of jumping in because of the polymorph, so Sylas would be a little bit of a better option to take away that wild growth, and he's going to go for it. So I think, to no surprise, BDS's draft is just very meta-orientated, and Olaf.
Yep.
I think that's basically how the BDS drafts go for meta champs and a Darius. And G2 is just so skirmish heavy. They don't really play much scaling at all. Caps hasn't played a single game of Azir this split. That's, you know, no real mages in his pool other than we've seen like one Victor game.
Yeah.
So they really want to make sure they can force these fights, 4 melee champs, get a Xayah to self-peel, and start some mid-game skirmishes.
Yep. And obviously, if we go late enough and the game's in an even state, Nuke's going to feel really great about this draft. Has a pretty big range advantage over the vast majority of champions on the side of G2. I think G2, a lot of good engaged tools with the Jax and the Nautilus, as well as the Sylas, taking away something like the wild growth, but overall, a bit more parity, it feels like, in compositions. If G2 get a lead in this game, it won't be quite as simple as just having a range advantage. A lot of scrappy tools on both sides. And I think the Olaf, a bit more of a known quantity for us here on the Caster Desk. The Garen, we kind of had to see what the impact was going to be, see what worked compared to solo queue and a professional game. But we know how good, how oppressive Adam can be on the Olaf if he gets the lead. But again, we're looking at a CC-less champion on the top side of the map, backed up by an Elise. Maybe they can get something done there as we get ready for game 2.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the beauty of the Olaf is, I've said it before, right? 4 melee champs on G2. He's not going to struggle to gap close onto anyone. He can just kind of ignore the Xayah and just hit whatever's in front of him. So he can keep that ultimate up. We'll have to see. BDS need to bounce back here to keep themselves alive. They have 2 lives in this playoffs. They lose here. Game 2, G2 versus BDS, coming up.
Dylan, thank you so much for joining me right here. My first question for you would be, in the first game, we saw 5 bot lane bans for G2 in a game versus Adam. That's not very characteristic. Why nothing towards him?
We were just very confident with our Jax pick in the top lane, and I guess he came out with a bit of an unorthodox counter pick. As for the second game, it's just different, right? They picked bot lane in the 4-5 rotation, so.
Wow, and right now in the second game, what changed? And we saw Renekton and Darius, and also we're already seeing a bit of action. Did the Elise maybe change something? That's why the 2 AD bans in the top lane came up?
Yeah, so the Elise changes a lot of like the way solo lanes work. There's a lot of bigger opportunity for early dives, early ganks, so we have to be a bit more mindful of the solo lane matchups we're playing. So interesting that they went for the Olaf in this game. I'm not sure if it's the best matchup, but he's very good Olaf, so we'll see how it goes.
Well, we'll find out. Thank you so much, Dylan, for joining me. Drakos and Caedrel, take it away.
Thank you very much, Trouble. Thank you, Dylan. Fantastic to have that insight. Yeah, Elise can be a very game-warm-picking champion. That's what's from Caster Desk. Hi, Drakos, Caedrel. Still here, still casting.
So, do you want to hear a fun stat? Yike,
Sure.
Yike on Bel'Veth.
Yes.
He's got 11 games played all time. What do you think his win rate is?
100%.
Close. 10-1. So he's lost one single
I was just
game
going
as champion.
bold. Thought I'd overestimate, but actually not far off.
Yeah, not far off.
10-1 is an insane stat line.
It is. So he's gonna do Raptors into Krugs, go for red afterwards, get his 3 camps. It's similar to Lilia, it's just a power farmer, right? He wants to look for full clears. I mean, level 3 Bel'Veth is pretty strong. Labrov, be careful of a hook there.
Okay, it's gonna connect.
Yeah, he's stepping up really far up against Nautilus, and the beauty of that bush and Mikyx in is he can hook, get the trade with the auto, and then back into the bush. So Labrov realizes that with the hook on cooldown, he needs to trade. That's how bot lane range matchup goes. They're gonna all in.
Heal. Ignite getting put down on a Hansama, and of course Xayah level 1 takes double daggers just to have a bit more poke. Can't really all in. Level 3 she can start to fight back a bit more, but BDS getting level 2 early on. Raw playing with a lot of confidence here.
Yeah, that's the thing. When the Nautilus hook is on cooldown, they need to punish it. I think they were a little bit late to punish it, but they managed to get a little bit of trade down. They have the push. He saw Yike on the minimap there, was looking for something around mid, but now he's going to go back towards his bot side. Sheo farming up his top side.
And it is important to note, in the interview, Trouble kind of caught it, but we weren't obviously casting the game. There was a flash burn on the bottom side, so it is 3 sums down for the BDS bottom lane. really need to push this advantage and are going to be very vulnerable to ganks for the next few minutes. On the top side, Sheo covering Adam, but Adam already being forced into his tower, definitely not ideal for what you would want to be getting out of this.
100% right. Read my mind. It's a bit hard to play Elise to cover, but I mean, if he's under pressure and the Olaf gets dove, it's a bit of a disaster if the Jax gets something like the first blood. But BrokenBlade doesn't have TP, so what he did was he got 3 waves in based on a cheater, got a cull, and that should help him out up against his TP advantage on the Olaf. But yeah, I think Yike's just full clearing. Sheo is going to do the same. No real options just yet, but as you highlighted, no flashing bots for Crownie. See if Yike tries to punish. It's very easy to just kind of flash hook on Nautilus, flash auto attack, whatever it may be, and then have the Bel'Veth follow up. But Crownie's just going to take a base as well, move his way back towards the bot side, see if Labrov tries to hold this wave. G2 bot lane will probably do the exact same thing once the wave is crashed, and it's a very calm early game.
Certainly the case. And I think in the next few minutes, we're going to need to see a lot of impact from Sheo. Now, Elise scales pretty decently with the full AP build. You can be a one-shot threat as Mikyx just trying to stop Labrov from freezing that wave, making sure it does crash under the tower. So it looks a little bit questionable. It's just all about controlling the wave state there. But yeah, pressure on Sheo to try to build an advantage here. Elise, the early game queen, the dive queen. Bel'Veth obviously going to outscale to get later into the game. So a lot about what Sheo can get done here in the early game. He does feel like he's playing with a little bit of a clock.
Managed to get the Raptor respawn. Sheo knew that he started there, so he tried to invade the second respawn. Now he's trying to invade the second respawn of Crux, but he's a little bit behind in experience. Adam's going to get the top wave in, so he can call Adam to come help him here, Sheo. Yike's going to be safe and sound. Mikyx is on the move. Doesn't decide to go back bot. 1v1 here. Hans will get a nice trade onto Crownie.
And early levels, Console, I'm going to feel pretty confident about that trading. A lot more spell-reliant AD carry as Caps playing on the edge here. Sheo now trying to walk in. Caps going for the slow. Mikyx in the area. Flash over the wall from Sheo is clean, though. Caps is going to get locked up. Should be more than enough damage coming in from the Elise. First blood donated over to Nuke. That is the perfect situation for BDS.
Nice commitment there from Sheo. He wanted to make sure the play would happen. Saw Caps really low HP. Just flashes over and gets the cocoon. Maybe Caps didn't see him run between the tower and flash over. Wasn't able to react in time with a flash of his own. Good play from Labrov as well to help his mid and jungle to get that kill, because I'm not sure if they had the damage otherwise. But now, with the flash down, they're trying to punish it here. Yike and Mikyx trying to invade onto this jungle support of BDS, see if they can find anything. TP back from Nuke. If they want to take this 3v3, BDS can.
Keeping it going, but Labrov is right behind them. Yike desperate to get something back. The knockup is not going to connect. Yike now trying to leap out of safety. He's already burned the E. All the damage reduction starting to fade away. They've taken out Yike. They're going to take out Mikyx too.
Well.
G2, what are you doing? BDS respond beautifully and stop G2's aggression in its tracks.
Great punish. Well, Yike and Mikyx are just walking in like they own the place. Crownie's first on the move from bot. Nuke's just TP'd back. Yes, you're invading onto the Elise with no flash, but can you really CC her? No hook from Mikyx can land if the Raptors are in the way. Nuke's level 6. Caps needs to be careful. Doesn't decide to dash over there.
Caps might have wanted to go back in there. Of course, Sylas trading can be very strong. Can now take away the ultimate as he ticks over to level 6. But this was very well played by Sheo.
Yeah, really well played. I don't think Caps accounted for the flash. Maybe he didn't see it. Labrov flashing over to make sure they have the damage. Nukes gets the kill. Presence of Mind helps him out, and then he TP's back here. So the invade here makes sense because you want to punish the Elise, and you think that the Azir is on a base timer, and Caps is TPing back already, so you feel like you have a little bit of tempo, but how can you land a hook? You have to walk into melee range to get onto this Elise. Look how far they're going into this jungle just to land one piece CC. Repels the knockup from Yike, so he can't get the kill in the reset. Polymorph stops Yike from being able to get away. There's no real point in flashing. Crownie's hit, but Caps has the E to escape. No more CC left on BDS, but good punish.
And that was pretty big. Labrov being there is incredibly crucial. Not only does he make sure that they get the kill, he has the Ignite ready to go, fresh off of cooldown after using it in the early lane to make sure that that extra damage reduction and lifesteal doesn't heal Yike back up in that exchange.
Top dive.
Close overall, but right now everything going in BDS's favor. They're looking to double down on some of these topside early advantages for Adam. Sheo in the area. BrokenBlade again playing very respectfully. It's going to step forward. Cocoon missing essentially means the dive is done. Big hook onto Crownie. 1, 2, 3. Pull back on the feathers, but a flash coming out just in time to make sure the chain CC doesn't come through.
Good flash. The root would probably have killed him. No Ignite on Mikyx. What would happen there most likely is if he got rooted, he'd probably live, but he'd have to use heal as well. So just make sure he can save that summoner and let the wave come in. We'll be able to pick that up. Yike's not bot side. This would be an ideal Drake start here for G2, but he's going to clear out his top camps. Mikyx's going to move towards mid, see if he can punish Nuke, but still has flash up himself. And yeah, great early game from BDS, punishing G2's mistakes. It's just about keeping that lead. We've seen them in this spot multiple times now. They need to be the ones to control the game. They outscale, they have really good carries in the later stages of the game. G2 want to skirmish, and even though BDS are ahead, when it comes to just how the champions function in the mid game, G2 will still be even. They need to make sure they don't give them any kind of fights Just keep the game under control, keep farming, and they should be able to take over on 2-3 items.
Good early from BDS thus far. Again, keeping your foot on the gas against a team like G2 is crucial, but a solid start. And just as it was in the previous game for Yike when he was on the Lilia, Sheo the one who has a bit of an advantage, 400 gold in his favor. Gonna make it that much easier for him to clear through these camps. Now, it's not Diana clear speed, it's not Lilia clear speed, you just don't have the AoE, but it certainly helps Elise. Yike on the other side, a bit slow, but is gonna make his way up to the top side of the map, maybe trying to impact Lane a bit more. BrokenBlade and Adam just continuing to duke it out here.
Looks like he's trying to just help BrokenBlade crash the wave. Mikyx gonna land on the Crownie.
Gonna land. Crownie gonna ult immediately, try to fire back with a little bit more damage. Can't quite finish the kill. Crownie forced to use the heal here. And G2 just getting these small advantages over and over again on the bottom side of the map while Labrov is roaming.
Yeah, I just don't think the jungle support of BDS is linked up very well here. Labrov's just on the other side of the map, and if you're gonna commit top side, then you need to make sure you're here in time. You either stay with Crownie, or you're on this top side for Herald, and he's just kind of laning mid, trying to chunk out caps. He'll eventually join the mid jungle of BDS, and they will get this play going, but G2 will find some on the opposite side of the map. Mikyx sprinting up, caps can collapse as well. Adam's fighting BrokenBlade. Does G2 want to contest this?
Get BrokenBlade's ulti out and some damage down. G2 not going to contest the objective, but keep your eyes on the bottom side. Picture in picture here, courtesy of our observers, showing you that that Herald has already been traded for 3 plates to Han Sama. So in terms of net gold right now, G2 actually coming out ahead on the play.
A little bit of a messy sequence there. BDS need to make sure they're synced up and linked up and making plays together. Crownie, I think, could look to win out on the 2v2 if his support was around. And if they were securing Herald earlier, then maybe he could have played a bit safer. But Dragon's up, and Sheo has the Herald buff, can recall and move out towards here. They have a lot of mid push.
Mickey. Ooh, canceled. One of the beautiful strengths, obviously.
Does Crownie commit for this?
Look out to safety. Mickey will walk away, but interrupting that recall is actually pretty big. If Mickey comes back at the same time, comes back to lane at the same time as Han Sama, when Han Sama has the Gale Force and Crownie still doesn't have sums, their kill pressure is insanely high, but now they've bought themselves a small window of time where Mickey not around whatsoever. He's just now finishing the recall, and maybe they can try to get a health or mana edge over Han Sama.
You highlighted it. Just look at the bot lane items between Crownie and Hans. Yeah, Gale Force, 2 double longsword, so Crownie's gonna have to push out on base, try to get a nude quiver or something to at least try to fight back, but BDS have some bot push to work with. Mickey a bit late. Can look for a dragon, but Sheo's in base. And I think BDS just want to get to those first items. They want to get to shield though. They want to get to things like the Leandries and then start fighting back a bit. Give G2 a little bit of this river control. BrokenBlade using his top push to move towards mid, try to get some information. Labrov's just been hovering in the spot side river the majority of the game.
Yeah, and Labrov, I mean, you can see what it's cost them. Labrov roaming so much, it has put Crownie at a deficit, but the good news is they were able to get Herald. Labrov was there for a lot of those early plays that have given Sheo his individual advantage. We'll see who it really reigns out for in the end as G2 now, priority control over the Drake. Labrov still hand-holding with Sheo. This man really likes spiders.
Based spider enjoyer.
There it is.
Yeah, Labrov's laning mid again, just trying to poke out caps. Crownie's just sitting there in isolation. They're going to give up this Drake, which I think is smart. It's really hard to face check into the Nautilus. One hook lands onto any of the 4. That's going to be a kill. So not giving any fights to G2. G2 really want to look for a scrap, but BDS playing reserved.
Yeah, I'm just playing for little health trades, little pressure advantages as Labrov just shows up and pokes. Han Sama, though, is a very scary Xayah for now. Boots 2 means that Crownie can try to dance around some of these abilities as long as it's the 1v1. But Sheo and Labrov on the way to the bottom side to try to recoup some of the earlier losses.
Where does this Herald go is the question. I think Sheo might place it bot to help Crownie get a bit more gold, but then they lose the 3v3, so is it worth to commit for it? They need Nuke, so Nuke's gonna push in and try to hover down. They have vision to work around too. Need to place this Herald soon. It's got about a third left on the timer.
We've also got 2 minutes until the plates fall away, so obviously want to get that down while plates are still an option.
Looking for Yike. He's going to sweep his way in. Could get hit by... Oh, Mickey, nice blind hook there.
Step. Cocoon goes in. Mickey just getting chunked out. That's so much damage. Mickey just taken down completely one-shot by the Elise. And now Crownie, he's getting frisky. Pops the ult immediately. Labrov on the way in. Sheo on the way in. They're just going to turn him into a little critter here. Waiting for the team to follow up. Ignite going in. Labrov versus the world. Very confident Lulu. Potentially overstaying his welcome, but luckily has the wild growth. TP comes bot. Labrov could now be in trouble. Herald utilized, big charge, and BDS coming up again with the play in their favor. 3K advantage.
Big damage. onto Yike. You can see the burst coming through. I thought that hook from Mikyx was pretty good because he knew that the enemy jungler was around there and that Yike was sweeping and they could maybe get a pick. But yeah, BDS is just so close and they can respond so quickly. Adam, he doesn't have Ignite, so it's really hard to take that fight. BrokenBlade can get the kill quite easily. So it ends up costing him his life. Isn't able to get the chain TC off if the hook hits with the knock-up with Yike. Just ends up dying. And now Mikyx on a wander. BDS being a bit greedy to push out this bot wave. They don't have much information. Crownie even dashing forwards. But Sheo's on the way. You can see him right behind them. The fight was extending, and he can get there in time. And I think they've recovered a lot of this bot lane deficit. I think Crownie's sitting on a lot of gold. And he should have shield bow in base.
Back and getting shield blow is going to be massive. The extra life steal just to make sure that you don't get completely poked out in lane. BrokenBlade is taking some plates on the top side. Adam will finally return to lane, and BrokenBlade really the only... Actually, there's not really any lane advantages for G2. 100 gold is not significant. Item completions are. But at this stage of the game, BDS leads across the map. The only downside is a lot of recall timings means that they are dropping some creeps across the lanes. And you can see in the total gold on your side, Hansama really the only one keeping up with his BDS counterparts. G2 really making up most of the bottom half of that scoreboard.
Unlucky for BDS, they didn't get the shield bow in base for Crownie, so that hurts a little bit on this next Drake. So hopefully he gets another base timer to fight that. And the Azir is only going to get stronger and stronger and stronger. Cap stacking up with that Rod of Ages, jungle support teaming up again. It's all about bot lane this meta. It's all about having that push and being first towards mid. Trying to secure as much vision as possible. G2 need to break through these pinks in the river, group up, have Yike behind Mikyx in hands, and start to look for 3v3s.
And credit to Labrov. He is playing like an absolute mad lad. He is a Lulu just wandering into a Nautilus's jungle with no fear. And yes, Sheo is behind him, but that takes stones. The man is brave. Very confident.
From Labrov, I like it. I mean, maybe he gets punished and maybe he doesn't, but he's leaving that up to G2 whether they want to fight him back, and every time they do, he's got members behind him. And here comes G2. The three-men stack up, push out, and try to get some vision. Yike wasted his sweeper a little bit though. And Caps can never join. You can see Nuke just pushes in, four-man hover. The only thing G2 can do actually is cover. They can't really threaten anything unless Mikyx can find a flash hook here.
Setting up the feathers. Root is big onto Crownie though, now flashing out to safety. Hook gonna land, ult gonna land onto Crownie.
TP.
But not enough damage. Nuke now stepping forward, looking for the scoop back. Hansama clean on the ultimate, but the feathers are going the wrong way. Mikyx now trying to make his way out to safety. Caps waiting over the wall, looking to find an angle, but G2 just forced back. Tower goes down, play in favor of BDS.
Ult just out of range of hitting Yike. Yes, Hans can ult it, but he was looking for Yike as well, who had no flash. Can't get the pushback, can't get the kill. And Caps coming on down means that they back away.
Top side, Divine Sunder for BrokenBlade makes these trades quite easy, even in the face of 40% healing reduction. So Olaf is falling behind in terms of trading in this matchup, even if the gold is still quite close. Yike, if he's able to sneak this Herald, it's actually pretty big. Yep. We've all seen what a Bel'Veth can do with an early Herald. So this could be an opportunity for G2 to get the control of the game back in their favor. For now, though, still 2k gold in favor of BDS.
Look at BDS, so they want to contest this. Sheo's on the way, no flash on Yike. They can look for a fight here. We'll see if Caps doesn't have TP, actually, so it's going to be a 4v4.
50 who gets it in the end. Now it's going to be G2 taking away the Herald. That's going to be massive.
Dash out.
Yep. In the upgraded form, Yike can dash over the wall, so he does just leap out. Uncontested, Caps still splitting on the bottom side of the map, and overall, hugely positive play for the side of G2.
What can BDS get in response? They know BrokenBlade and Yike likely have the base, or at least they're low, so they're going to push in top, look for this top tower. Caps responding with a bot tower of his own. And now it's just about stabilizing here for G2. They need to get back on the map. Looks like they're not going to go for the top tower. Dragon spawning means they want to contest that, stop G2 getting towards the soul point. Only one dragon right now, though. They want to let those stack up. BDS going to move into this bot side river, join up with Adam. We haven't seen any action from Adam and BrokenBlade just yet. Crownie, no flash. Mikyx looking to catch him in rotation towards bot side. And instead of G2 moving into that river, they're just going to pop the Herald. That tower is probably going to go down.
This
using just force for 2.
Using the Bel'Veth Void Remora to just immediately pressure the tower. Zoning Crownie away, just going to break open mid-tier 1. That's massive for getting more map control, for looking to match on some of these objectives, but have to be careful. Nuke is pretty strong at this point in the game, so G2 can't afford to stick around for too long. But good use of the Herald, good use of the Bel'Veth true form there.
Yeah, just making sure they get something in response. Trading is so important. G2 know he's here.
The wall, Sheo, gonna get stunned up, gonna get knocked up. He doesn't even get a chance to rappel into the sky. G2 perfect pick onto Sheo, and now Adam is gonna be the one in trouble. Hook hitting the minion. Mikyx still on the chase. Adam running for his life. Surely there is no way out of this one. The CC immune, the Lulu will make sure that he can escape in the end.
Caps is getting a tower on the other side of the map. G2 are walking around with this 4-man death ball. First the Herald, Caps gets bot tower. Then they move towards mid, towards Drake looking for picks. Caps gets top tower. So G2 playing the map quite well here. BDS are picking up objectives, but now they've recovered this gold deficit. And they're 3-1 in towers.
Massive for G2, tying up the gold. Finding those shutdowns, taking the Elise out of the equation. And I think this is one of the things that's, again, hard about playing against G2 is that they're very good about just overloading a side lane. And if you're not ready with a response on the opposite side of the map or to match man-to-man, it's really easy to find picks like this.
I don't think he was warded either. They just knew that the Elise was taking Drake. It was dead, Crab was gone, and Adam was hitting bot tier 2. So the likelihood of him being on blue buff is quite high, actually. And G2 went for it, and they found a kill. Managed to get Adam's ult. Don't get a splash, but it's not the end of the world. So a kill and 2 towers in mid and top for the Dragon. Really good trade for G2. Cap's gonna get the chain onto Nuke, get the ult.
Side lane 1v1. This is very favorable for Caps. Nuke gonna have the TP, gonna have the backup just to make sure that he can get something done to make sure that he is safe in that 1v1. But excellent find for Caps, trading ult for ult.
Yeah,
not too bad.
Just keep chipping away, don't they, G2? It's summoners, it's vision, it's picks. BDS aren't able to find team plays yet, but they're not in a bad spot. They still outscale. They still in a, I think, being 400-500 gold up against things like Sylas and Jax. Pretty happy spot for BDS. They need to make sure they don't over-index on giving G2 too many fights because this death ball just keeps running around. Yike, Hans, and Mikyx are going to group up again and look for plays on these sides.
BDS should just be able to break open this top lane tier 1. Caps hovering around in the area. G2, the rest of the team in the darkness, ready to respond if BDS want to commit for the pick. But both sides just playing in Fog of War and trying to look for these angles, look for these single target pickoffs. Yike has to be careful here. Recalls are going to complete, so he will be fine. And now moving into the river, G2 immediately pings coming out, ready to collapse into the jungle and lay down some vision. But Adam will complete the recall, so there's nothing here for them.
Looking for vision, looking for as much vision as possible, looking for a pick. If anyone from BDS steps up, they're as good as dead, and they've dropped bot waves. BrokenBlade pushed in all the way, then moved mid in this 4-man death ball grouped up again. Just looking to force summoners.
Waiting. Side lane. Adam gonna go to top lane. No TP to his name, but shouldn't need it as everyone on G2 is already here on the top side of the map. Something you have to respect for G2 is with the Bel'Veth, with the Xayah, their Baron's pretty quick. Matched on the opposite side, of course, by the Azir and Zeri, but neither side can afford to lose a teamfight. TP coming in here.
Is that from Caps, is it?
Waiting in the darkness.
So with BrokenBlade, looking for Nuke. Adam has no TP. He covered the first play on top. Now can't cover the bot play. They might be as good as dead. No tower to run to.
Where's the Cocoon gonna go? Pushback is big from Nuke, getting the ultimate up in time. His Caps can turn into his ladder if he needs to, but they just cut down BrokenBlade. The damage is massive, and Caps is getting nothing done. What goes up must go down, and Caps is certainly going down here. No, a flash out to safety, but now Mikyx gonna die. BDS, they do so much damage. G2 overstaying on the bottom side, over-committing for the play. BDS quick to punish.
No MR on this. Jax just instantly got bursted through, didn't get the ult off for resistances either, just got pushed back the second he flashed in, and they managed to just basically one-shot him in a cocoon, and then the 2v2's lost. Labrov just comes in time, and it turned into a 3v1. They have to retreat, and are they gonna look for Baron here? Nuke's around, Labrov's on the way. Yike can't dash over the wall, doesn't have the evolved form, I think, but he can flash. Needs vision though, but Mikyx is dead, so he's got one pink ward in his inventory. Caps has one too. Once those pinks are gone, they don't really have any other way to spot out this Baron.
7K, getting lower. BDS debating, sad B, they decide to pull away. No point in flipping it. They've already got a gold lead, they've already got advantages. Their Azir is huge, they do not need to flip it.
Don't risk it. So here, BrokenBlade's gonna flash in here with the stun. No, just jump in. Yeah, he tries to flash actually. Then the cocoon hits, he just dies in the cocoon, he's gone. And now Caps can't really offer anything. He has to get out as quickly as possible, and then Mikyx comes in thinking, well, Yike and Hans are here, maybe we can turn this into a 4v3, but the hook hits the creep. Another cocoon lands, bursted through, and once the Azir is untouched and doing out damage, then not really much G2 can do. They need to get on top of Nuke and try to force him away, push him back. G2 now looking for this next dragon. BDS are posturing to contest.
Have to be careful. We've seen it already. Every one of Sheo's cocoons could be a death sentence.
Oh,
Both gonna go in, they're trying to burn through the Elise, and they're gonna take her out. Goal is not able to go up into the air. Hansama taking out Sheo, but it's Adam into the backside, auto-attacking Yike, going forward, trying to find the true form, but he will just find his death. Adam running into Mikyx. Hansama, 4 members still standing for G2. Adam on the hunt. Nuke on the backside, but will not be able to get anyone else taken out. 1 for 2 in favor of G2.
They managed to get the kills, but the carries of BDS are still alive, and G2 have nothing really left in the tank. Hans has used everything. Caps has no ult, no flash. Mikyx can't really walk in, so they're going to get the objective here, BDS. But Sheo stepping up way too far. That should have been a 1-for-1, but the Elise just going way too deep, gets hooked, gets killed instantly. Basically was a 4v5 from the get-go. But this BDS, they have so much damage. G2 trying to stay together. Get the Jax, get the Bel'Veth, get the Sylas on top of one target, try to burst him down. But yeah, Sheo just walking up here into G2.
Oh, it feels so bad. Now, admittedly, they burned so many of their cooldowns just to take the Elise out in the fight, but that is massive for the team overall. And luckily, Adam is such a menace. He stops Sama from really getting anything else done in the fight.
Yeah, a bit of a mistake from Nuke as well. He WEQ'd away thinking he needed to shuffle, but then he flashed and then didn't need to ult anyway, so mechanics were a bit off in that fight. Could have looked for more in terms of punishing, but yeah, Adam just buys a lot of time, and Crownie's building up to his third item, getting stronger and stronger. G2 need to start forcing plays a bit quicker, I think, with these summoners down on players like Nuke. They probably want to look to punish it. Level 15 Sylas here, Caps.
Caps trying to dash up to safety. Brav speeding up Adam, and BDS again looking to take control over this Baron pit. Collapsing on mid lane, gonna get the push there and then see what they can do with it.
Yeah, their turn on Nash is not the best. No flash on the Olaf, it's just basically on Nuke to try to shuffle anyone who walks up, but BrokenBlade looking to punish if they look for this mid-tier 1. Their Baron is quick, but it's not very easy to secure and stop Yike from getting into the pit.
BrokenBlade just waiting. Debating, seeing if he has an option to go into Adam there, but won't opt to go for it. And right now, we're still at the point of the game where the Elise does a ton of damage, so it is so hard for G2 to face check into Fog of War, really have to play this slow and by the books, get pressure in their side lanes, but Caps potentially risking something here if he walks too far forward.
Yeah, looking for some vision here, G2, but good game from BDS so far. I think every game BDS have played up against G2, they have managed to find leads, they have managed to fight back, and incredible turnaround from them for this entire year, really. Bringing in players like Sheo and Crownie, and building around Nuke. Adam's return has been exceptional, so now it's just a case of closing it out, getting across the finish line. You know, 9th in spring, 10th in summer. Now here they are, 5th up against G2 in this best of 3. In a commanding position to take a game off of them. They just need to play it slow and steady. G2 gonna take some bases, refresh their wards, and look for another fight around the top side of the map, you have to expect. BrokenBlade with no TP though, it just becomes so difficult. He needs to push out bot waves, and that means G2 then have to back off top side, and then he'll rejoin them. While Adam's sitting on that teleport, he can kind of stay down there.
Yeah, and Nuke kind of the center of attention in this game, which I think feels good if you're someone who's been believing in BDS, because he is the guy that stuck around after last year's disaster. You want to see him show up. You want to see that faith that's been put in him paid off, and has been an excellent Azir game thus far. Really set up for success by Labrov, by Sheo, enabling him to really shine here, 3-0-4. But in these fights, at least until Crownie's got 3-4 items, he has to be the big carry to step up. And whether it's going to be a shuffle and being the big engage, the big playmaker, or if it's going to be standing in the backline with the Sand Soldiers, he has the power to win BDS this game.
Yike's been waiting in this top rush for a while now, just sitting here for around a minute, hoping that BDS look for something. Maybe they can try to punish it, but yeah, BDS not taking a bite. They're just staying around mid, making sure they're grouped up, making sure they're catching waves safely, just rotating around the map, probably just waiting for Crownie to get his third item, waiting for Nuke to get towards his Shadow Flame. They're not really on a timer here, BDS. They're happy just farming up these creeps, and I think the only worry they have is Caps is level 16, almost level 17 on this Sylas. Nuke just gonna ding over to 15 soon. See how much he can get done in these fights, Caps. No stranger to clutching it out, and doesn't have the best ultimates to work with. Maybe an Azir shuffle or a Wild Growth on himself is great, but nothing like a Sejuani or a Nautilus or a one-dimensional just lockdown spell.
Or a Mumu, like we saw yesterday. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty lackluster ultimate options. I mean, the good news is because he's level 16, part of that because he bought the Roa, he gets that extra level. The cooldown is super low. And if a fight goes long, which they could in this game, you may be able to get 2 ultimate. Can be difficult, but something to look forward to. For now, though, G2 have control of the Baron pit. Do they feel confident enough to try and start this one? For now, though, looks like no.
It's risky. It really is risky. Both these teams don't want to take a risk. G2 really want to fight, though. Just such a pain because, again, BrokenBlade is bot. If anything happens, it's going to be a 5v4. Dragon's up in 58 seconds. We'll see if BDS move towards that objective. And this Bel'Veth, I'm just going to say it, it's really weak. 1.5 item, Kraken Slayer, no blade, building towards Wit's End. Doesn't really offer that much right now. Caps is even giving creeps over to Yike, probably because he's around 100, 200 gold for that Wit's End in base, but doesn't look like he's recalling yet. Now he is. 2 items online for the Bel'Veth, and maybe G2 start pushing forwards a bit. But yeah, Crownie's getting closer and closer to that Infinity Edge.
And again, I think we're in a situation where, similar to last game, not with poke, but G2 could find themselves outranged as BDS were in the previous game. I don't know how Bel'Veth really gets in.
Yeah.
Into the face of Zeri, into the face of Azir. We saw in the previous fight, BrokenBlade leapt into Nuke, tried to flash over the Azir, but that hook could be everything. Sheo goes up though, we'll find the disengage. Immediate double TP, and this is going to be the fight. BrokenBlade leaping, trying to isolate Labrov, taking out the Lulu before the fight can even start, but Labrov manages to stand. Yike going to the backside, and it's big damage. Crownie and Sheo still standing for now. Caps leaping forward. Good damage, good sustain. But Adam, what they need, BrokenBlade ticking, burning, trying to mitigate the magic damage, 25% less. He will survive with the counter-strike. Labrov still trying to keep Adam standing. Adam, so much healing now coming through. Nuke waiting over the wall. The Azir could be massive. Hansama, Mikyx, Caps playing on the edge here. Caps fishing, desperate to find something, but at the end of the day, 1 kill in favor of BDS. Everybody making it out with their lives.
That could have been game over for BDS. Crownie and Sheo living on 5 to 10% HP. Caps wasn't able to finish them. It's just 1 kill on Yike. So many summoners blown, and Dragon is still up. BDS trying to recall. Maybe they look for Adam here, but trying to take away the crab. Caps is over the wall. He's going to dash onto Adam here. Can he get out? Can he survive?
Walking up Adam. Adam, no ultimate. 10 seconds left. Crownie now on the retreat. Big stun coming in from BrokenBlade, but he's in no man's land. He has to flash out of safety, and now Crownie's on the chase, but this is big. I don't know if he can 1v1 the Jax. He's just dodging every single attack, but they turn him into a cute little critter and knock him out. BrokenBlade down 6 feet under as G2 lose the exchange.
45 seconds on the Jax. G2 need to threaten something here. They know BDS are going towards Dragon. Do they try to do some kind of Baron start or bait? I think they should just hide around the wall here. They should just sit in the pit and wait, and then Hex flash over to Hook. They need to play an acting game, see if they can get the Oscar, but there's the blue orb. The play is gone. They're just going to lose Dragon. And BDS might be able to look for a mid-tier one here. G2 still haven't recalled. Only Yike has because he died, so the TPs are coming in. BDS realize they have so much tempo on the map, they can start to force these objectives. Can even look for 2 towers here as Hans is recalling. Mickey is recalling.
BDS capitalizing on the advantage that they have built for themselves, capitalizing on that massively favored fight, taking Dragon, taking mid lane tier 1, now looking to get priority control over the Baron. I expect probably see recalls here, not the attempt to start, but they can clear out some of this G2 vision.
No greed from BDS. Don't want to push for a tier 2. Don't want to overextend. Take the small wins. They're on soul point. 3 item Zeri, 3 item Azir. They're winning these fights. And G2 are running out of time. This Bel'Veth is still not come online. Yike still looking for plays around top, just hoping that BDS overextend and make a mistake and they can pounce onto the Azir and turn it into a Baron, and that's when the game will explode in their favor. And again, they fall for it, but Nuke hasn't so far.
And I think we have to give credit to BDS there, because as much as G2 are fishing, BDS aren't biting. And remember in week 1, we were ready to call the Baron flip the BDS Baron, because they kind of just got bored in some of their first games and went and flipped it. They weren't feeling that confidence. They just wanted to try to get that advantage. But now, the discipline that we are seeing here in a tense game, when you are already down a single game, is big for the team.
And you can tell that G2 are feeling pressured. Caps has a blue pot. He could get towards Rabadons, but he's bought a blue pot. He thinks that they're running out of time. They need to get a fight going soon and win the fight. So Yike still topside, still looking for something, still looking for Nuke, but he just keeps grouping with the team, making sure they're together, making sure they're not getting caught off guard. Flash coming up for Crownie. About halfway through, maybe BDS are just waiting for that spell, waiting for that summoner. Sheo looking for Caps, who's still trying to find something.
But Caps just taking so much poke just to even walk forward. Now trying to heal up. Big ultimate might be enough though. Hansama just trying to isolate Crownie and take him out, but Crownie so strong. The knockback isn't going to be big. They take out Crownie. Hansama will trade his life in exchange, but Caps is already down. Yike is on the backside, but everybody on G2 is falling. BrokenBlade gonna burn. He goes golden. Yike wants to turn. Yike, this could be his hero moment. Does he have what it takes? It's not enough. BDS will find the fight. Nuke with the triple comes in clutch.
Crownie falls, but Nuke stands strong. 6-0-6 on this Azir next to Adam. He should be able to pick up this Baron quite easily, and you can see Caps just so desperate to force something, and it was a good play, but BDS are grouped and they're ready to respond. The Baron dance is over. BDS win it. 3 minutes away from their soul. They're going to control the map.
Massive for BDS, and I cannot wait to see that fight. You can see G2 sole focus, tunnel vision.
Yeah.
And every time we want to praise them for Clean League of Legends, it feels like they add something else to the resume here.
Yeah.
Good things, but the little things matter.
He timed it correctly, the Crownie spawn. I'm not sure if the HUD updated in time. We'll see it in a second. Looked like he was a second off, but anyway, Caps just desperate looking, trying to dash over. Yike on the flank, just trying to pincer onto BDS here, and he finds that Sheo and Crownie a bit out of position, knocks them into Hans, knocks them into Mickey, knocks them into BrokenBlade, but it's Labrov on the side fighting up against Yikes. It's Caps who Nuke punishes instantly in this wall with the soldiers. Mickey hooked into the wall. He couldn't get onto Nuke there. Maybe if he could land in and CC, they could get that kill. Yikes just over the wall. He managed to get Labrov, but then he comes back in, but a bit too late. Stopwatch from Sheo, and then this flash from here from Yike doesn't get the kill, or the dash, sorry. And it does look like Crownie has that Baron, so it's a 5-man Baron up. BDS pushing into this bot tier 2. Flash coming up for Crownie as well, so he can pass the torch over Nuke to the Zeri.
Their siege so oppressive. The Zeri Ultra Shock lasers. Nuke with the Sand Soldiers, the extra range, the Baron-empowered minions. They should be able to start to break open the base, but you know G2 trying to respond, always trying to get something back, and right now that means Caps popped out to a side lane, but it means the rest of the team has to play so safe because BDS can just try to force.
They have no wave clear. G2 cannot clear these waves. They're playing 4 melee champs and a Xayah. How are they supposed to stop these creeps from getting into the base? Bot inhib is gone. They can start moving into mid if they want, but they're just going to keep going through bot, it looks like. Push these waves in, make G2 respond. Caps is going to get a top tower. That'll be a bounty, but he needs to recall soon and help G2 in this defense. There'll be 2 cannon minions on this mid wave, and I think they're going to siege onto this. Oh, Mikyx, did he just flash hook the wall? I think he did. There's the emote, there's the TP. I think
is fine.
Don't think there's an engage here. They just lost the flash hook on Mikyx, but they might have to go anyway. They're running out of time.
Caps take away the Azir ultimate, try to find the angle on the backside. He's looking for it. He gets stunned, he gets locked up, he gets wild growth, but he still manages to push a few back. Nuke into the midst of the team, but he held on to the shifting sands, and he will stand strong on the backside. BrokenBlade trying to make the difference. 1K gold shut down onto the Jack, but it's not gonna be enough. Crownie standing tall, taking down G2. BrokenBlade gets 1,000 gold, but it's gonna cost him the game.
They've done it. They've taken down G2. We are going to be going to a Game 3 in this best-of-3 series. BrokenBlade trying his best to do anything he can, but Labrov's not giving it to him. Bot waves coming in, mid waves coming in. Looks like BrokenBlade is going to proxy that. Do they have any creeps down here? Yes, they do. 20 seconds on Yike. I think that's game. What a showing from BDS, playing calm and collected, not giving G2 anything in these fights. Standing tall as 5. These creeps should be enough. BrokenBlade's going to recall BDS. Looking for a mid inhib. They don't actually want to commit to the end. 7 seconds on Yike. It's not over yet. You can see them laughing and smiling. They think it is over, and they should be able to push in on the next siege. But they don't want to risk it. There was a small chance BrokenBlade and Yike could find a 2v3. And Dragon Soul is up, so just play it safe. Get the Rabadons on the Azir, get the Soul, and secure the game.
No TP's up for G2. Should not be able to contest this one. Yike moving towards the top side of the jungle. They will just concede the Soul. And again, credit for BDS. Big turnaround from game 1. Very clean, controlled, collected here in this fight.
So Caps is on the side, and he tries to do the same thing as last time. Take the Azir ult and then flash and push them in, but he does get Nuke, but Nuke pushes him back as well and then dashes to the back line. So it's a bit of a split here. Hans just has to hit the creeps because he can't get in range, and he's just so body blocked by them. And then once Nuke finally falls, Crownie is then the next threat in the line. G2 hold on to the game, but BDS have full control over it.
Yep. Just reminding how this all started. Sheo, Labrov doing so much to get their laners ahead in the early game, even if it meant letting Crownie get a little bit behind, but they have more than paid off that debt. Crownie now 1.7k gold ahead individually, Nuke 1.4. Massive performances from AD and mid, backed up in the early to mid game by their jungle and support. Now BDS as a whole just feeling pretty unstoppable in this game. You can see G2, even if they find the angle, even if they find the CC, they don't have the damage to finish kills quickly enough.
Don't think they do. No stopwatch on Caps either. Maybe they're trying to get... I think G2's last stance is get Zhonya's on Caps and just send it onto Crownie, see what happens. Nuke probably trying to base for Rabadons here and then TP back. Stay together. Stay as 5. Don't let G2 flank. Ward them off. Bot inhib's gone. Mid inhib's gone. Just stay towards top. Don't even need anyone to push the waves in, just in case.
Yike finds a knockup. 1v1, he can do okay against Sheo, but Sheo unconcerned, repels up. Has to come down here. Nuke now jumping forward onto Caps. It's a bit of a split fight. Hansama finds him in the choke, but Adam just walks forward. Hansama has no room to play the game, just gets cut down, brings the feathers back, but to no effect as BDS are tearing through G2. Caps does nothing on the back line. BDS rolling over G2 in the fight.
5-0, and they will close it out. G2, yeah, nothing left. BDS have it all. And they're going to have this game too. So much damage. They can't even get Adam down. He's still full HP. That Mountain Soul, the Gore Drinker, all of them on top of him. And we're going to a game 3 here. BDS know how much this means. And if they've got any pocket picks or they've been practicing anything spicy in scrims, now's the time to pull it out. Because if you lose this next game, you only have 1 life left in the LEC playoffs.
Yeah, have to see for G2 what they can show us in game 3. BDS rallying beautifully after game 1. Labrov, a nightmare in that game, I have to say. So annoying to play against.
Yeah, just
he
so
was
in your
just
face.
showing up in lanes. He was just, and because G2, while they did get sums from Crownie, weren't really able to find those kills in the early game, just didn't ultimately matter.
The Elise worked as a good bridge. You know, Azir, Zeri, that's why Elise is strong. You can play for early dives and accelerate the game, or you can use the pressure of the Elise to make sure the Azir and Zeri are safe enough to get to those 3 items. The Bel'Veth never really came online.
Yeah, fantastic showing from G2 in game 1. Fantastic showing from BDS in game 2. I cannot wait to see what will happen in game 3. It's coming up next after a quick break.